All right. Today's discussion for this policy marathon is teacher training and development in the school sector. So, as we know that teacher training and development is a very crucial aspect for enhancing the education sector of every country. The primary aim for teacher training and development is to increase and update the skills and knowledge of the educator, so as to improve the education sector and enhance the teaching skills and provide a better learning space for students. So by focusing on innovative teaching methodologies, technology integration, and pedagogical advancements, these training programs equip teachers with tools to foster effective learning environments and help them gain insights into the latest educational trends and research, fostering continuous improvement. These development sessions also serve as a collaborative space for networking, knowledge sharing, and skill development, ultimately empowering teachers to make a very lasting impact on the students' educational experiences. Therefore, in today's Policy Manthan, we will delve deeper with qualitative discourse into the need for better implementation and facilitation of teacher training and development programs, focusing primarily on government schools, which have always taken a backseat in every discussion that has to do with education and discourse. So, to start with today's discussion, we have our first speaker, Dipankar, who is going to speak on the need for change in the institutions in order to improve Sarkari schools. His focus is going to be on the Delhi school transformation model, and along with that, he's also going to share his own personal experiences. Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yes.
First of all, marvelous evening to all of you. Today, as Sneha said, what I am going to talk about. Firstly, I will talk about my experiences, and that will answer the need to improve the Sarkari school. Firstly, I will talk about in my locality. Actually, I went to my locality to know about children, and I went to a Pani Puri stall, a local vendor. There, two children were working. They were Pani Puri sellers' children. I asked them in which school they were studying, in which standard they were studying. The younger one was in 8th class and the elder one was in 10th class. I did not engage much in this conversation, but and I asked about their school. They were studying in Sarkari school, Gurdan, in Satna itself. So we need to understand that in Sarkari schools, most of the students they are from humble background. They are from very humble background, and they try to help their family financially. So much of the focus is obviously the child's responsibility is there to learn, to do hard work, but special efforts are to be implemented in Sarkari school through school principal organization, NGOs, to ensure that they grow out of their poverty. Secondly, I met my neighbor. Actually, she's my neighbor. She's a KG2 student. I talked to her. She was also very overwhelmed by the pressure of her studies. It was a very light-hearted conversation, actually. We need to understand that students of such age are also feeling pressurized. So less pressure is to be implemented at that age. A comprehensive study module should be made, which hovers on the holistic approach. Thirdly, I met my friend's brother. He was studying in class 10. Our conversation was going on good, but then I asked about something about which explains his understanding of history. He was studying all the course books. He was very good in his studies, but much of his perception nuances were built on the social media narrative. I think in 2023, it's a very huge problem all over the India, not only in school students, in college students also. This is a huge problem that we do not have a nuanced understanding of history, and much of our narrative is built by social media influences. I asked him about our leaders like Gandhi, Nehru. He was having having some opinions. Okay, everyone can have their opinions, but that was mostly based on WhatsApp forwards, Insta, YouTube Reels. So I recommended him a book, Nehru, Mithak or Satya by Piyush Babile. And I also gifted him a book, Karm Bhumi by Premchand. Next, I want to talk about, as she mentioned, about Delhi model of school development. If we keep our political affiliations and other events aside, we all would agree that there is dramatic change and improvement in Delhi Sarkari school education. Actually, I recently read this book, Shiksha. I think this book itself is a testament and a way forward, a way we can know how Sarkari schools have to be improved. All states can take their suggestions from this book. I'll just take 20 seconds for each chapter. First chapter is budget. Delhi government has drastically increased the budget. They have used 30% of their GDP in Sarkari schools, Delhi government schools. And if we compare to other states, it's a huge difference. Secondly, teachers. Okay, I want to stop this Delhi thing. I want to continue with my experience. Last week, I think I attended that girl empowerment seminar where girls from rural India were speaking. They were telling about their schools, their implementation. That's a reality, good. But I think they all were the best candidates from their school. Obviously, any school, if they want to present themselves, they would present the best candidates. But the other side of reality is that actually my mother is also a school teacher. And I have experienced it myself that students in Sarkari school, they are in class 9th and class 10th, but they do not know the basic calculation, mathematical calculations, basic English and basic Hindi. So this needs to be improved. That's also a reality. Secondly, I read a beautiful sentence in this book. Just one second.
Thank you so much, Dipankar, but I don't think we can extend the time any longer because, or else we won't be able to encompass others.
Okay. So
We'll love to listen to you in the next session.
I'm just concluding by saying that we need to change Sarkari schools in a way for holistic development. Second, building libraries in Sarkari schools is very prominent at this post-truth era, where history is taught from WhatsApp and Instagram. We need to have books in our library where students can go through. Okay, that's all from my side.
Thank you so much. Okay, so for our next speaker, we have with us Prabdeep, and they're going to speak on technological integration in education plus teachers training and workload management. Over to you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. As Dipankar said that his mother's a school teacher, my mother is also a Sarkari school teacher, and she teaches primary children. And from my experience, when COVID happened, because my mother is near her retirement age, when COVID happened, it became very difficult for the senior teachers to integrate themselves with technology, and because everything happened online, your classes, your attendance, your evaluation, it all happened online, but there was no training or any sessions, holistic sessions which were actually effective. It was not provided to them. So I think what we need is in-service training for the teachers, and not just some seminars where honestly teachers go and have samosas, because yeah, I've been to those seminars with my mom when I was a child. So, and they're just normal gupshup sessions, and what we need is a good in-service training programs which are run by uh, specialist people, and especially for senior teachers, because I saw it in my house. My mom had a very hard time. Uh, in adapting to that thing, adapting to COVID, and plus there are few good portals like Spam and Nishta, good online portals for teachers, also teachers training also, but there is no complete awareness about them, and we need good online portals and awareness about them. Plus the students, as Dipankar was saying, that they come from humble background. I have seen this, mostly they are laborers in tier 2 cities or tier 1 cities. I am basically from Chandigarh, and mostly they are laborers in government schools, and in June, July or August, they go back to their homes, and then the dropout rates are very high because some people don't come back, and then their education suffers. And uh, because if a child has to be in class 6th, in according to his age, he is in 3rd or 4th because he doesn't know anything. And as Dipankar was saying, class 9th, 10th students, they don't know anything. They leave their paper. They leave their paper that teacher is going to fill it for them, because there is a policy. There's a government policy also. Till 8th, you have to pass all the students. There's no way around it. If the child knows anything or nothing, that's not the problem. You have to pass them, and they don't do anything. They leave it for the teachers to fill out, and which is sad. But we need more training programs, good training programs, and good counselors also. We need good counselors, because most of the counselors in the schools are contract workers, and we need good counselors also. So yeah, that was my time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhi. For our next speaker today, we have with us Kashish, and they're going to speak on innovative pedagogical approaches. Over to you, Kashish.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kashish Gupta. Today, I'm going to speak on the innovative pedagogical approaches. Innovative pedagogical approaches refers to the creative and modern teaching methods designed to enhance the learning experience and better engage students in the educational process. They often goes beyond the traditional classroom methods and embrace new technologies, strategies, and perspectives. By focusing on active learning, critical thinking, and real-world application, innovative pedagogical approaches aims to prepare students for the dynamic challenges of the 21st century. It may include project-based learning. In PPL, student works on an extended projects that involve research, problem solving, and collaboration. This encourages students to apply their knowledge and real-world challenges. Flipped classroom. In flipped classroom, traditional learning activities are reversed. Students are engaged with instructional materials like videos or reading outside of classroom, while classroom time is dedicated to discussions, activities, and hands-on learning. Collaborative learning. Collaborative learning, this approach encourages students to work together in groups, fostering teamwork, communication skills, and peer teaching. Then it may include learning through engaging in games. Next, we have personalized learning. This helps students to identify their needs, strengths, and learning styles. Technology often plays a role in delivering customized contents and assessments. Then we have a blended learning. Blended learning combines traditional classroom instructions with online resources and activities. This approach offers flexibility, self-paced learning, and the benefits of both in-person and virtual learning experience. Experimental learning. Experimental learning focuses on hands-on experiences such as internships, field trips, and role-playing to help the students to connect theory with the real-world situation. Next, we have inquiry-based learning. In inquiry-based learning, encourages students to ask questions, explore topics, and seek answers through the research and critical thinking. It promotes curiosity and self-directed learning. Next, we have place-based education. This approach connects learning to the local community and the environment, fostering a sense of place and encouraging students to engage with their surroundings. Last, we have neurodiversity-informed teaching. This approach recognizes and accommodates diverse learning styles and cognitive differences to create an inclusive and supportive learning environment. innovative pedagogical approaches empowers educators to adapt to changing educational landscapes and cater to the diverse needs of students. By incorporating these approaches, educators can inspire creativity, curiosity, and a lifelong love of learning in their students. Thank you. This is from my side.
Thank you so much, Kashish. That is very well structured. For our next speaker today, we have with us Jasmaria. Was my pronunciation correct?
Yes, it's correct.
Please go ahead.
Hi all. Today I'm going to talk about inclusion and diversity in schools. So first of all, we know that teachers are always encourage all the students to be same in their grades and also in their creativity, but they are not ready to accept the students what they are. So, first of all, I wanted to talk about what is inclusion in education. The inclusive education is considering every student equal, irrespective of their race, gender, language, financial levels, disabilities, and diversity, etc. So now we can look into how a classroom become diverse. We know that a class can consist of different students from different areas and cultures. They also possesses diverse ranges of cultures and beliefs, etc. Without judging them, we should care and love them. That's the first thing that teachers can do. So next, we can look into different benefits of inclusive education. The first one is social development. Through social development, children are quick to learn from their surroundings, and when they see diversity is accepted positively, they also learn from that. So this approach helps them to develop respect and understanding among themselves, and it also creates a self-confidence and observation and imitations from the positive habits of teachers itself. The next one is better friendships. When children with and without disabilities learn in the same classroom, they develop a relationship they may not have considered otherwise. So, better friendships can also create a positive aspect in inclusive education. The next one is academic success. Teachers use special teaching techniques to help students do well academically in inclusive classrooms. A nurturing learning environment coupled with peer support can result in better vocational outcomes than in non-inclusive settings. And the next one is varied extracurricular activities. Not only pressurizing the students to learn from their textbooks, they should also engage in sports or other extracurricular activities without any differences in their abilities. For example, helping to participate the specially able students in the sports is also an example for the extracurricular activities. And the next one is community building. Uh, Through this, the parents of special children feel supported in their community, which brings them greater psychological and economic well-being. So we know that if the parents are always concerned about their children when they are like they are forced to be in a psychological trauma society. So the teachers, when the teachers support them, it will be thing that they can do. And the other things we can discuss is that the role of teachers. The role of teachers in the inclusive education is that identification. By identification, it means teachers should identify the positive and negatives of every student in their classes. This creates inclusive mindset among the teachers as well as the students. And the next one is cooperative learning. Through cooperative learning, if, for example, if the teacher is creating a group or some of the team to do something together unitedly, this will create a cooperative mindset among the children, So they can accept every one irrespective of their disabilities or like abilities like languages, race, gender. So I think the cooperative learning is the most important thing that we can bring in the education. And the next one is modified assignments and marking. Every student is not as same. We know that every student can't grasp equally as the highest ranking student. So the teachers could bring small assignments or some teamwork to create a better environment among the children. And the next one is addressing parental concerns. Uh, the communication between the parent and teacher is also an important thing. And curriculum adaptations and supplementary study materials are also some of the roles that can teachers do in the inclusive education. And next one is supporting all without any indifference. Every student is equal in front of a teacher, so there should not be any indifference regarding their disabilities or languages or beliefs, or they should, in case if the student is like a student is not positively responding in the classes, teacher can change the mindset, but without any what do you say, without any inequality. Yeah. And the next one is stop over punishments. The punishments sometimes can change the mind of the children, but over punishments can also create some trauma in the children about the subject and as well as teacher. Uh, and the most and the important thing that I wanted to say is that bringing students more into the reading habits. This will create also, this is the most important thing I wanted to say in the inclusive education. Yeah, that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Asmaria. So, for our next speaker today, we have with us Soumya, and Soumya is going to share her ideas on the technological integration in education in course of the post-COVID world. Over to you, Soumya.
Yeah. Hello everyone. Am I audible?
Your voice is slightly breaking.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, it's clear. But can you please switch on your camera?
Yeah, I'm really sorry. As I have severe eye flu and I am strictly advised not to use a screen. That's why I can't look at the screen now. Should I continue?
All right, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Soumya Srivastav, and I am going to speak about technology integration in education and teacher training in course of post-pandemic era. So, like erstwhile speakers have also highlighted the problems that Sarkari schools are facing. To talk about more about the teacher training in current times, as the COVID has changed the course of life that in which we are living. So we all know that the teachers constitute one of the most important pillar of the education system anywhere in the world. And given the significant changes that occur across a teacher's 30 to 40 years career, it is justified for the comprehensive continuous professional development. Therefore, it follows that teachers need ongoing training throughout their career in order to stay up with the dynamics of the society. Now, the main question, I believe, is changing scenarios of teacher training in the course of COVID-19 pandemic. Although we are back with our offline classes nowadays, but minutely COVID had changes the impact of imparting education in India, if we say, although in the all over world, but I am going to take India particularly. So we all know that the the tough time and the digital divide that we had at that time had further worsened the situation. In that case, public schools of primary or upper primary level has been held back, and additionally in rural areas, what I have witnessed is that in many part of in my village, many students either do not go to school, or they were not able to attend online classes for continuous 2 years because of lack of resources and the adaptability issues of the teachers. So they were moved away from the education, what even the education is for continuous 2 years. That's a matter to be considered. So yeah, what I have noticed is that the digital learning is becoming an absolute necessity nowadays, and many people are worried about the access disparities and the threat of digital divide in the education. The right to education is now matched by the right to access, making equitable access is nowadays a top goal. The digital education experience has all but further exposed the issues of equality and the learning disparities that we have witnessed and that also have been long existed. In the post pandemic world, policy must change according to the blended learning issues that also been highlighted by I think someone before me. For instance, if professional development points were previously only valid for in-person training, they must also be accepted for online instructions. Blended learning is important because it addresses how to teach students both within and outside of the classroom, how to identify gaps in their knowledge, and how to cope with various challenges available at the local end, such as the diversification in the classroom that had been highlighted. That has been previously highlighted. So it is necessary to understand that nowadays ensuring digital literacy is one of the most important aspects that should be included in the policy framework of the education system. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Soumya. So for our next speaker today, we have with us Akanksha Gupta, and she will be speaking on pursuing multilingual education and inclusive curriculum. Over to you.
A warm greeting to everyone today. And we all have gathered to discuss upon some critical issues, and many of the issues have been covered in this policy meet. The challenge that I want to highlight is of the language barrier. As we are a multicultural and diverse linguistic nation, especially languages other than Hindi and the child's own regional language becomes the barrier for the child to grapple and learn. For example, in my feedback that I have interacted with some government school students, like most of the government school students are not able to cope up with the coursework in English. So, which is really denies the children's the potential learning and the holistic growth. And other side, the language barrier, the ways of instructions, even given in the mother tongue, is not very impactful. And the very bad feedback that I had with my fifth standard government school student in my neighborhood, that when I told him to give 4 to 5 lines about India, he was not able to, and doesn't know how India map look like. So these are the challenges which obviously need policy consideration, because I think technology integration is secondary. Primary thing that need to be considered in education landscape in India is about giving the importance to grassroots problems like behavior and the learnings, the teacher training, the curriculum reforms. So policy consideration should move towards primary things later than the technology integration. So I think these all things that I wanted to cover today, or already we are getting short of time. So thank you to give my attention to this policy cause. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Akanksha. For our next speaker today, we have with us Anamika, and she's going to speak on the significance of teacher training and development in school education.
Greetings, everyone. I had a different topic prepared for the day, but as I listen to more and more speakers, I can't help but notice how many of us have actually something in common. Like, even my mother is a government school teacher. She's a government school teacher in Kerala. She's teaching 11th and 12th grade for English subject. So one thing that I noticed every other speaker spoke about is how, students faced problems during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'd like to share one experience from my end. Like in case of my mother's school, what they did was their old students union, they came together and they started pooling in funds so that they can get new phones and TV for students. And that is how they coped up with the situation. So there was this one channel called Victors, if I'm not wrong. So in that channel, every class was displayed, like all the classes from 1st to 12th, they had particular time slots and the classes were displayed in that way. And yeah, that's about my personal experience. And for today's session, I wanted to draw your attention into the Finnish education system. So in the Finnish education system, if we look at it, it has an emphasis on equitable access to quality education for all students, irrespective of socio-economic backgrounds. Whereas in Indian system, we can see that disparities in education actually exist between even urban and rural areas. And this gets worse when we talk about gender and caste. This is actually hindering the equal opportunities, which is actually guaranteed by our constitution at some point. And another thing in the Finnish system is that there are highly trained teachers having autonomy in crafting their curriculum, resulting in a more dedicated and innovating teaching approach. Whereas in India, you ask any school student, they are just so much against their exam. And for sure, most of them will know the person who, found out or discovered exam because they hate it for sure. Because in India, the teaching methods, the curriculum, everything is related into by hearting things and finally giving an exam which will decide your educational qualifications. If you get a A plus, it's well and good. But if you fail, you'll have to repeat the class. There is no constant checking of your knowledge. There is one final checking of your knowledge where you should be able to pull off everything. As in your, it's more like your memory is being tested rather than your understanding of the topics. But again, the Indian system backs it by saying that, the memory aspect of it is actually from the root that, actually understanding a topic will help you remember it for a longer time. So improving government school education requires a collective effort at this point. By valuing teachers and, enhancing teacher training, we will have to put our efforts as a community in order to enhance this. So nurturing teachers is like strengthening, very base of India. That's all I'd like to say.
Thank you so much, Anamika. So for our last speaker today, we will be concluding this meet. And Anshika will be speaking on leadership and career development. Over to you, Anshika.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
So, hello and good evening to everyone. So, I have very less time. First, I want to talk about my experience. So, I'm from Delhi and I have studied from government school from second class to 12th standard. So, I have seen a drastic change in Delhi schools. So earlier, teachers were very irregular and there was no timetable. We have to carry all books all day. But coming to the COVID time, I have seen very drastic change. We used to have YouTube classes on YouTube live sessions from Director of Education from Delhi, and also from our teachers on Zoom meetings, and we also had our attendance on that. And teacher used to give marks on that. So I can say we have seen drastic change, and I agree with Soumya and Prabdeep that Soumya says that English speaking is not enhanced in government schools. So teachers should pay attention to that. And Prabdeep said that till 8th class students are like pass ho jayenge. But coming to the 9th class, there are many students who gets compartment in maths and science. So these are the major problems which I can see in government school today. So coming to my topic, which was leadership and career development. So leadership in education is more than just a title. It is an ability to motivate and inspire others to progress. Teachers who are often hidden leaders can have the power to spark spark the curiosity in the students and help them to bring out their best. The development of teachers is not only about their personal growth, but it has direct impact on the quality of education our students receive. When teachers are provided these trainings and opportunities, they are better able to adjust in teaching technique. A teacher who continually honors their abilities is a source of inspiration for their students. Adding leadership principle to teacher training takes the profession to a whole new level. Giving teachers the power to take charge of their own development helps them to feel more responsible and encouraged. As a leaders in their school, teachers are advocate for student-centered strategies and creative teaching approaches. So incorporating leadership and career development into teacher training programs can significantly enhance skills and effectiveness of educators. So I can give some, from my point of view, I can give some solutions to that. We can offer workshops that focus on leadership skills, including communication, decision makings. These workshops can help teachers to develop their leadership qualities needed in the classroom. Also, we can develop